Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about that Trump interview and the different reads on what Trump said. If you don't know what happened, the former president went on Fox News, and Fox News actually questioned him, and pushed back pretty effectively at times. Not what I was expecting to see, I'm going to be honest. But they were like, hey, you lost. You lost the election. And Trump's like, no, I won. And they're like, you took it to court. And in front of judges you appointed, you lost. You lost. And they just hammered it home. They also asked him about the documents and the recordings and all kinds of things. And they really did do a good job at pushing back on his attempt to be economical with the truth. But one part in particular has led to a bunch of questions. Some people heard it and they were like, oh no, he has a defense for willful retention. Some people heard it like, is this really going to fly? And kind of believed that he might have admitted to the crime on TV. Okay, so he was asked, why didn't you give the boxes back? And he basically said, well, I had personal stuff in them, and I had to get my personal stuff out. Given the whole timeline, that part isn't going to fly, okay? In fact, there's one particular piece of this that is probably going to become incredibly problematic for the former president. So, in relevant part, the willful retention part of this, it says that somebody's guilty of it if with the intent to retain such documents or materials at an unauthorized location. Okay? The intent to retain the documents is actually the problem. Okay? Again, the intent to retain such documents or materials at an unauthorized location shall be fined under this title or imprisoned, blah, 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 blah. Trump, in the interview, said, before I send boxes over, I have to take all of my things out. These boxes were interspersed with all sorts of things. I was very busy, as you've sort of seen. Okay, to be clear, the law does not say, it's okay if you intend to retain these documents at an unauthorized location until you get your golf shirts out of the box. It's not what it says. It says, if you have the intent to retain those documents, it's an issue. And before I send the boxes over, I have to take all of my things out. Before he returns the documents, he has to take his things out, and he's going to do that on whatever schedule, I guess, he has, because he's a very busy man. Can't be bothered with little things like classified information, I guess. When you say, before I return the documents, I have to do X, you are saying, I am willfully retaining them until this time. He definitely did not clear himself of those charges in that interview. I think he probably hurt himself a lot. I do not believe the explanation that he provided in that interview is going to be helpful in court in any way, shape, or form. He might have admitted to one of the elements during the interview. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but when the title of the charge is willful retention, it's probably a really bad idea to get on TV and explain why you retained them longer than you should have. That's not helpful. I'm certain that his attorneys were not happy with that statement. There were a number of other statements in this interview that will probably come up later. This is one of those things, you will see this material again. I'm going to suggest that his explanation of the recording is not going to fly either. The former president, did himself no favors during that interview. So for those who heard it and said, hey, that sounds like a real defense because he makes it sound like he was going to give them back. Yeah, you don't get to set the timeline for that. That's not how it works, especially when they are actively pursuing them. There's an issue. That this was not a silver bullet defense for him in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.